speak and live their truth as well. And I think a lot of us in life are really scared of actually being honest with ourselves and the world we live in. A lot of us outsource our thinking, some to religion, some to politics, and some to society and your parents. They actually decide for you what you want to be and what you want to do in life. I wanted to speak almost right after the panel spoke before lunch because there were a lot of truths that were raised and a lot of things that were raised that I want to discuss today. It's sad that I don't have much time, but hopefully you guys can maybe find me on social media where I post some of the things I talk about. The truth is that black people are actually fucked. Yeah, it's not nice. Black people are fucked. But as Zulebo said before lunch, we're probably in the greatest time and period as young black people, specifically in South Africa, where we have so many opportunities to actually take a hold of our minds and take a hold of our destiny. Why are black people poor? We're poor because we keep giving our money to other people. It's not rocket science. Why is every other nation rich, doing well, especially in South Africa? We keep giving them our money. I'm always nervous when I have to speak on a platform where established companies are kind of sponsoring the event, especially banks. Because the truth of the matter is, a lot of guys came to pitch here and they're probably looking for funding. Banks actually want to make money off you. It's not a charity case. The panel that spoke before lunch spoke about sustainability. They want to make money. When institutions give you money, they want to make money. And the fact that you're black or blue or you're young almost doesn't mean anything. It's very nice, but it doesn't mean much. I'm going to get to my speech. I'm honored to be here and I'm so grateful to have you guys listen to me, but the biggest money makers don't have time to actually attend these things. The guys that are actually making money aren't here, to be fully honest. They don't have time for conferences and summits. The gentleman from the IDC actually put that poignantly when he raised it. We talk a lot to each other and ourselves. Same guys with the problems are speaking to other guys with problems, trying to find solutions, and the guys with the solutions that are making cash are not here. Pakistanis, Nigerians, Indians, Chinese, Muslims, they actually don't have time for this shit, to be honest. They're out there making money. What they do have though is they have time for each other and time to invest in each other and learn from each other. And you see this the world over. Lebu mentioned this, stokvels are not a uniquely South African thing. We just call them stokvels. There are groups across the world. I think the Jewish community globally sits at something like 22 million. Zulu people sit at about 18 million. So if you're talking numbers game, we're not too far off. The only difference is they keep money circulating amongst themselves. We don't. Apartheid separated us, which weirdly was actually good. Apartheid and the Brits, however, they stole from us, which is not that good. Why do I say apartheid separating us was good? I admire the Broederbond. Not sure how many people are aware of the Broederbond and the companies that are born of them. The Broederbond is a group of Afrikaans nationalists who came together, mostly farmers and very much religious people, pooled their funds in the same vein as the People's Fund and every other crowdfunding mechanism. And they built the economy for themselves. At a time when British people were actually keeping them out of good jobs. I hope that sounds a bit familiar. They got together, they pooled funds, and they invested in their own businesses. Absa today, which is born of a bank like Volkskas, Sanlam, Afgri, these are companies that are born of the Broederbond, who decided enough is enough, we're tired of giving other people our money. I heard that stokvels have about 49 billion. I've heard figures of up to 55 billion. I think there's about 18 million people who are members of about 800,000 stokvels. I myself have set up about 20 in places as far diverse as loans, farming, property, medical aid in townships, and spaza shops. The goal ultimately should be to keep money in the circle. What a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand, and I'm hoping that the guys that are going to pitch understand this a little bit, is that money hates sitting still. Money loves movement. When you park money in the bank, there are people that are constantly looking to get that money and work it. What you get for parking your money, wanting it to sit still, is a lousy 1 to 6% per annum. They sell that as, 6%. It's rubbish. Those of us in business know that, especially as a small business, you should be jumping or targeting amounts at least 100% plus per annum if you want to build a sustainable business. A lot of us give money to the church. We pump money to the church every week. But our churches have never funded our school fees or our businesses. Maybe it's time to sit with your pastor. Maybe it's time to sit with your pastor. How can your mother, your grandmother, who have been at a church for 40, 50 plus years, not ever get anything back from that church financially? And we wonder why we're poor. We talk 55 billion or 49 billion in stock files. I don't know how much circulates amongst our churches in South Africa. Why are we not pitching our businesses to them? Why are they not funding our businesses and our school fees? If they care about uplifting our townships, our communities, I think it's time we bring them into the conversation. Once again, the gentleman from the IDC mentioned stats about black money and how many times it circulates or doesn't circulate in the townships. Black people need to understand that every rand that leaves the circle kills a black child. It may not be as explicit to you, but every time your rand goes to someone outside your circle, and mind you, by circle, I'm not only talking black people. You could be from the suburbs and your friends are white kids. Every time the money leaves that circle, it's going to create jobs for other people elsewhere. It's allowing other people elsewhere to buy another house, to buy a big car. Tomorrow when you're looking for a job, you'll be begging those same people that you give money to. The people that you give money to, would they hire you tomorrow? Would they hire your kids? If you went to Pick and Pay tomorrow and told them you've been supporting them for 20 years, would they give you free groceries? The problem, to be honest, is actually us. We're the problem. We keep giving our time, our labor, our money to other people. The good thing, however, is that the solution is also us. There are young people that are creating platforms for young black people specifically to keep money in the circle and to fund each other and to buy from each other. Most of you here don't need funding. You actually just need clients. If 1 million people came to buy from you every month, you wouldn't need funding. And that's a reality some people don't understand. So more than pitching to investors, I think it's becoming more vital for you to pitch to your family, to your friends, and make them understand that for every rand that's going to the church, going to an established business and not coming to you, they're actually killing the family legacy and family wealth and family prosperity for generations to come. It's not going to be easy, but war is never easy. The gentleman who said he's not a doctor mentioned something very important that some people may have missed. Silicon Valley and almost every other big company in the world has been built off war and probably stolen money and resources. Some of us want to be funded by institutions that benefited from apartheid and every other tragedy that you can think of. It's laughable, but it's true. Most of us actually just want to get into the circle and not necessarily uplift our own. There's a war that we're fighting. You may not realize it because it's not as explicit once again. But there are people that are mobilizing in their communities, in their homes, even in their churches. At dinner tables, they talk about money. They talk about business. They talk about keeping money and skills and information within the family. We're not.